Roger. I'm glad tonight I'm joined with my guest co-host, Ms. Masa Dopo. Masa, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thank you, Dennis. It's a pleasure to be here and to share studio with the honorable man.
All right. We want to welcome Honorable Roger S. Domah, District Number 7 Representative, Nimba County. Honorable, welcome to
Yeah.
Focus on Liberia.
Thank you very much, Dennis. It's a pleasure being on your platform again.
Right. You were here before, and we are glad to welcome you back. Thanks for letting us know that you were in the States.
Oh, yes. And it's almost 1 year since I appeared on your platform when I was in your state. It's good I'm back again, at least to share this platform with one of the brilliant daughters of Liberia, Ms. Dopo, and also you, who's also co-hosting.
Thank you. Thank you. And we're glad to have you. So let me bring in my guest co-host. First of all, Masa was on this platform not too long, and based on popular demand from my viewers, they wanted Masa to join me today. So Masa, congratulations.
Thank you, Dennis.
All right. So I give you the floor to open the show tonight.
All right. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you to our listening audience. Thank you to the honorable mayor, Roger Domah.
Domah.
Right? Domah. Okay. I have a friend. We graduated from St. Michael. His name is Darren Domah. So
Darren.
yes.
Darren is from Bombay. I know him, but that's not the same Domah.
Okay, sorry. I just wanted to make sure. But
Yeah.
thank you for accepting the invitation to be on our show tonight. I say our show, not Dennis. I'm on your show.
Yes, you're part of us.
But thank you for the opportunity to be on the show tonight. My name is Masa Dopu. I don't really introduce myself a lot, but by way of introduction, my name is Masa Dopu. I'm a born, raised Liberian. I left Liberia in 2006 when I came to the US. My first stop in the US was in the immigrant state, the state you just left from, Minnesota.
Okay.
And I was opportune to go to school there. I started off with a community college, the North Hennepin Community College. I graduated from there. And then I moved to North Dakota. It's a nearby state too, for a 4-year degree. So I was in North Dakota. I graduated from the North Dakota State University. I did a dual degree bachelor there. I got my BSc at the North Dakota State University in Human Development Family Science Education. And I got a Bachelor of Social Work degree at the Minot State University. And I just got my master's degree at the University of North Dakota. So I'm a Midwest, I'm a Midwest resident. I just moved to Delaware when I got approved for graduate school. I was there in May for graduation. So it's an honor, it is a pleasure, and I'm happy that you accepted this invitation to join us on this platform. There are a lot of things been going on in Liberia. Like we always say, we are not in Liberia. We are not currently living in Liberia, but everything about Liberia concerns us.
Yep.
Everything, we talk to people, we got our family there. I was just in Liberia in April, by the way. I was in Liberia, with some of my friends. We went on some kind of need assessment of our organization. We were there in April. I was only there for a week, so that's why I didn't come to the Capitol building.
Wow.
We're busy. So everything about Liberia concerns us, and we will never be anything other than Liberia, regardless of where we find ourselves. So it's a great honor for you to be on this show, for you to be able to share with our audience what's going on in Liberia and some of the concerns that they too will have, because this is an interactive platform. We have callers who are watching, they are interested, they are going to be calling. Some of them will be posting comments, questions that I'm going to read out. Denise and myself, we're going to go back and forth on that. So thank you for coming, and we are happy that you accepted this invitation to join us on this platform.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
And we want to welcome our viewers from across the globe, those in District Number 7, Nimba County, and all over Liberia. We say welcome. So, Honorable, let's start tonight by getting to know about your district. How is it there? I learned you were just there. I saw the picture. So, tell us briefly about events and what's going on in your district.
Well, thank you very much. Our district is thriving. You know, I normally say in a joking manner that we are striving properly, the kind of government that we are running. There are a lot of needs that our people are faced with. Some of them we try to see how we can do some interventions, but the interventions are not just sufficient enough. It requires government full-scale interventions. The road networks, you know, are terrible. You saw me riding motorbikes, you know, to go to various locations during my last visit from Ganta to my district, and from my district back to Ganta. I was on motorbike. Our health system is very challenged. There's a national issue. Most of the health facilities are virtually emptied. We have all of the workers sitting in there and doing very little to save lives. Some of the diseases that are very curable, people are dying from it because the medications are not there. And sometimes just the testing equipment and the reagent required to do the tests, you know, are all not available. Our school system is very challenging. As we speak, there are a lot of young people that have not been able to enroll because of government's policy, where you have to pay the full fees in public schools. And bulk of the schools in the district are public schools, of course. You know, so you have to pay the entire fees. It seems to be very small. You know, some just $5, some $10. You know, some $15. But parents cannot afford to pay for their children. So you see a lot of children that are out, you know, of school as we speak. So the situation are just enormous. Sometimes they get confusing, but we are trying to do what we can do, encouraging the young people, especially who are future leaders, to remain in school, to take on the challenge, to keep the courage, to stay in school. For me, that's the area of interest that I got. And also, you know, to talk to our citizens so that all of us can, you know, combine efforts to ensure that the health system remains workable in all of us' interests. Our local leadership, you know, those in the local leadership, they are trying in their best to keep the environment stable. Whenever there are crises, they handle it. Most of the time in consultation with me, our state securities, though things are difficult, they are all striving to keep the peace. And also the district is faring, is trying, is striving in the midst of the difficult economic situation.
You were currently in your district, as I learned, to consult with your people on a number of things, including the just ended economic dialogue.
Yeah.
Of the proposal. So just for
Dennis, I'm just gonna interrupt you a little bit because I'm interested in what the Honorable Minister said regarding the challenges that his district is faced with, especially his own interest in education. And that's something me too, I'm very, very much passionate about education and healthcare. So Honorable Domah, what do you see that I know you also talk about the government, some of the government policy. Is this government policy, is it different, that educational policy, is it different from that of Madame Salif? Because I know during Madame Salif's time, there was some kind of policy that was put in place, what it said from kindergarten to, I think, to ninth grade. They have
Mhm.
like free public education. Do we
Yeah.
still have that in place? Because I see a lot of people complaining about education.
No, from what I'm seeing and my interaction with school administrators and authorities of the school Ministry of Education, that is not existing.
Do you think
Because you
why?
have where there's a change in policy, that's what I'm understanding now. Preschool going students pay something like 3,000 Liberian dollars, which is around $15. The elementary students pay $1,000, which is something like $5. And then 2,000 for junior high and 3,000 for high school. But that is paid at one time to the Ministry of Education's account.
That's what I
And
heard.
because so it's an automated system that they are using. If you don't have the money to pay during registration time, that means you don't have the opportunity to be enrolled. You won't sit in class. I think that's a challenge our communities have been faced with. I was in most of the villages in my district, and I saw a lot of children roaming around during school hours, and I was really, really touched by that. And when
So,
I tried to,
Domah,
yeah,
are you saying that school used to be free in the previous administration, but now they are
I
charging?
don't, Dennis, I just want to hold you up there. I don't think it used to be free, but the $10 that he's talking about, or the $15 he's talking about, those were kind of stuff that they put together. I think the teachers, some PTO thing for the teachers to be able to get
the
talks.
PTA,
Yeah, PTA.
Yeah,
Sorry.
to do some maintenance work and pay some
Yeah.
volunteers. But then what is challenging the schools now is that the ministry is requesting that these amounts be remitted onto them.
Yes.
And then after the registration process has closed, they will take something like 40% and send 60% back to the school. But the schools find it very challenging, to receive the money from the ministry. It gets their own work kind of difficult. So what some of the schools decided to do was to add up, to start doing some basic work while the school, with the wait for the Ministry of Education to remit the money back to them. The ministry is saying that they are not supposed to do that. I understand that some of the EOs were even suspended as a result of that decision. But I think the ministry is just buying time and trying to shift blame because of that kind of policy. But my concern is that in Manasalita, even if that amount was charged, parents were encouraged to pay in installments. Before the school year ends, you must be able to complete the thing. But this time around, they are saying that no, you are not going to pay in installment. You are going to pay all at once. And in the villages, some of the parents cannot just afford to pay that amount, especially parents who got a lot of children going to school.
Okay, so then I come in again with a follow-up question, because I think that the House of Representatives or the House of Senate, I think like they have some kind of oversight, supervision, or whatever we call that.
Yeah.
They have some kind of oversight supervision with the Ministry of Education. So what is that committee doing to really be able to hold the Ministry of Education accountable for some of the policy that are affecting our children from going to school?
Well, as part of our oversight responsibility, from me, I even placed on the table a communication raising the very concern that I'm explaining. That committee was forwarded to the Committee on Education, along with other concerns.
Do you know the person who's the chair on that?
Honorable Johnson Gueglo from Nimba County District 9 is the chair on education in the lower house, and Senator Darius Gue from Riverside is the chair on education in the Senate. So when all of the communication came in, for instance, or Dopo talk about schools selling uniform very exorbitantly, all of the communications were forwarded to the Committee on Education. I took part in the hearing when the Deputy Minister came, and those issues were discussed. But the thing is that the committee was not able to report back to plenary for plenary to take decision when we closed session. So we are hoping that that committee will do everything possible when we resume so that the report can be placed on the agenda and then it can be discussed for the House to take some national decision on that.
Okay. And so how soon are we expected to get a feedback on that?
Well, we expected them to report to plenary about 2 weeks ago, but that did not happen until we closed. They were still working on their report, still doing some consultations to see how they can come up with a report that would be acceptable after the debate. So that we left in that process when we closed. And the House is going to start its regular session, the third session in January of 2020. Except where there's a special call session by the president or the leadership of the House that we wait on for January to get a report out.
Yeah. So you see my question, the reason why I'm asking you for the oversight responsibility of the House of Representatives or Senate, it's just the fact that, Honorable Domah, there are a lot of Liberians like myself who are interested in education, who are interested in being able to transfer what we have learned to our own people back home. And the Ministry of Education, as well as the higher education, they have been a serious obstacles to a lot of people who want to give back to Liberia through educational related initiatives. There have been a lot of headache, and I can go over and over to explain that, but we're probably not going to end this show. So I will reserve that, and then you and I are going to chat on that later. And because I'm planning on submitting a conflict of interest document to the legislature, because you cannot have people who are interested or who have been entrusted to provide educational opportunities for the next generation, and you have then messing or damaging the future of our children. You just cannot do that. There are people at the Ministry of Education who have their own institutions, have their own businesses, and they continue to misuse the resources that are being given to the Ministry of Education to benefit less privileged children. They continue to transfer those resources to their own businesses, and that's wrong.
I agree.
That is so wrong. A lot of people. I'm friendly with a lot of people who are into this educational field and they really want to give back. And because sometimes with my relationship with this government, like people think that when you go and talk and people would listen, but no, it almost like people have built their own network within institution that there's no way you can break that until these people time have expired and they disappear from public offices. So we really need the House, because the House is an independent body, and the House is there to provide oversight responsibility for all these different ministries, the executive branch of government. So if the House cannot hold these people accountable for the work that they're doing, how can we be able to hold them accountable?
Yeah, that's sad. That's sad. And just as you said, we can chat more on it, and all of us can form the partnership to ensure that the right things are done in the interest of our people.
Okay.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you are just joining us, this is Focus on Liberia. We are speaking with the Honorable Roger S. Domah, representative from District Number 7 in Nimba County. So, Honorable, I was speaking to you concerning your trip still in your district to consult concerning the proposal from the economic dialogue. Just walk us through those things that were proposed and what exactly did you discuss with your constituents? Well,
from the economic dialogue, there were 6, propositions that came up, and at least the one that was forwarded by the president to the legislature for advice. And prominent among those was for one, the establishment of the implementation of the TRC report, which include the establishment of the War and Economic Crime Courts in Liberia. So he also talked about requested for the printing of new currency in the country, and other issues that were raised. So I did a consultation with my people, and there was an overwhelming, mandate from our people to come and sign the resolution that was already before the House for the establishment of the War and Economic Crime Court. I did the signing already, and we are just waiting for that resolution to be introduced on the floor, so that we already got the required number. That means the vote has already been taken. Once we resume, it will be placed on the table, and then it can be sent to the Senate for concurrence. The issue of the printing of new currency, the proposal was brought forth by the executive in terms of new denominations and the minting of coins and what have you. And through the deliberation, the House had a resolution to grant the central bank, the opportunity to print new currency, but not agreeing entirely with, the proposal that they brought. For instance, in that resolution, the proposal to print 500 and 1,000 banknotes, the House said that no, if inflation is going to be controlled, then we cannot be printing bigger bills that people will just take a few leaves that will carry a lot of monies and then carry to their home. So if we are going to print new banknotes, the highest should be 100 Liberian dollars. I think it's reasonable enough. Then we try to set a procedure that will prevent some of the things that have been happening in the past. For instance, the one that happened in the printing of the 16 billion Liberian dollars. So in that resolution, the House is saying that for the central bank to proceed at any next level, for instance, if you are about to go into the process of bidding for a company that will print the banknote, come to the House, let the House be aware of the process. When you are conveying the money into the country, come to the House. If you are about to disburse the House or send the money into the economy, or get back to the House, revert to the House, let the House be aware of the amount that you will be putting into the economy and how much is going to be in reserve and so forth. In that way, we all will be able to play a very adequate and oversight responsibility that will prevent some of the things that we have gone through. So all of these are issues that we discuss with our people. Our people have concern when we did a consultation concerning the printing of the new money. One of those was, you remember when the infusion of the $25 million issue came up along with the 16 billion, the government requested an international body to come and do an audit. And an international auditing firm called Crow, came and did an audit, and then the government also set up its own special task force. There were recommendations from those two groups, that are almost similar. And some of those that they revealed was the central bank had serious systematic issues, and it needed some cleanup. So our people were saying that in the midst of those concerns, the government has now started taking steps to clean up the system as it was observed by the two groups that carry out the investigation. So to give the central bank the go ahead to start printing new money, they need to go and start, the executive needs to go and start looking at the recommendations, working on them first. Then in that way, the legislature will be able to give them the approval to print. But we can't leave the system as it is, as they have been in the past, where things have not been going the way they're supposed to go, and then we just let it go like that and give people the green light to print money. In that way, they feel that, there will be no transparency in the process, and we'll still continue with the economic mess that we are experiencing right now.
So I have a question, Honorable Domah.
Yeah.
So could you mind sharing with our audience on some of the reasons given by the executive branch of government to print money?
Well, right now, if you go to Liberia and go to a bank and you want to encash a check, or you have a transfer, money to you from abroad or somewhere that you want to get, you might not be able to get it within 1 or 2 days. And the government is giving us, the executive is giving us the impression through the banking system that there's serious shortage of cash in the economy. The public is holding up to 80% of the money in circulation. So as a result, transactions that are needed to be done, they cannot be done. For instance, when I was coming, there was a check given to us. I was unable to encash that check. I had to leave it with my staff. And up to now, they are still struggling to see if that check can be encashed. Besides that, if there is money and they're going to give you that, up to 25 to 30% of them will be mutilated. That means you cannot easily use it because the vendors will reject that money when you go to buy from them, even though they are from the bank. Besides that, one characteristic of money is they have to be uniform. But if you look at the money that was printed by the state administration and the one that was done by the any administration, you will see that we have two kinds of, for instance, $20 bills, two kinds of $5 bills, two kinds of, just like that. So the uniformity and the quality of money does not exist in our economy right now. So to correct all of this, the government feels that the only option we have, and that they can also have control over the money in circulation, because to exchange your money, you must bring it through the banking system. And once you bring it through the banking system, there must be mechanism as to how you're going to withdraw money to carry back and to carry on transaction. In that way, the government will be able to control the supply of money in the economy. So I think these are logical reasons. Yes, but the only concern is we have is with the system that will be implemented.
The system of accountability.
Yes, that's a concern most of us got.
Honorable, did you say the House already approved this with all these concerns or not yet?
No, there was a resolution that came up. The resolution was being signed, but I don't know if because I left a day to closure, and up to the time I left Liberia, that resolution was not placed on the agenda. So there was still argument as to some of the way to proceed among the lawmakers. It was not approved. And I also read that the Senate said that they cannot give the executive the go ahead to print money right now because of some of the concerns that I just raised.
Okay, I think those are good concerns, especially with the issue of accountability. So if the executive can really be able to present on how they're going to be hold people accountable for the printing of that money, and then the House to be able to submit their own accountability check list. I think the executive presented a good reason for printing the money.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Dennis, any
on the issue of the War and Economic Crimes Court?
Yeah,
and you said that too has not been approved. But what is the reason, or what do we see? What do we stand to benefit as a country with the implementation of the War and Economic Crime Court?
Then, as you see, most of the perpetrators we find now in Liberia, when they are brought to book, the comments they make is that they make reference to people who committed crimes in the past and there was no action taken. So because we have not had that national will to prosecute people who carry on crimes, either economic or crimes against humanity, we see it perpetuating in our society. So if justice is to prevail in Liberia, if our justice system is to be respected, that means we have to take some measure. And one way we can take measure is to begin to punish crimes that were committed in the past, because that's what people are making reference to. For instance, this government came on the agenda of change, but when they step forward wrong there and you try to talk about it, they said, but these people did it in the past. So the reference are made to the bad things that were done in the past for people to continue to do the wrong thing even today, even when it hurts the nation. So I think the coming in of the War and Economic Crime Court will serve as deterrent to some of these things, because everyone will be aware that there's a consequence that you will face, or some kind of reward will be coming forth if you carry out certain action.
And Honorable Domah, another current the current challenge I think some of you have is the fact that people who have committed crime in Liberia, they are still holding higher positions.
That's it.
They are still controlling the minds of their oppressed people they have oppressed.
That's it.
People they have exploited, they are still controlling these people. So it's not about the references to the past, but it's just like the current day. Let's look at current day. These people are still in power. They control everything.
They are in position of influence. They got the resources to their disposal, and if the people are going to survive, they got to get to the very perpetrators that we are talking about.
And so it's going to be hard for you to take these people off their position. It's going to be hard for you to do that.
I know it is we might see it difficult, but with the assistance of our international partners, I think there's a huge possibility.
No, don't get me wrong. I want war crime court to be established in Liberia. I'm just looking at the possibility of it. Because you can say you want something, and then those who supposed to ensure that the stuff is done, they are the one who are at the higher position, influential positions, and how are you going to get them out of those positions? For example, the senior senator for Nimba County, Ray Johnson.
Why are you always people referring to my senior senator? He's not the only perpetrator.
No, I'm just saying. He's not the only perpetrator. But I'm just saying
we got what I want to refer to as the white collar perpetrators who are holding position of trust.
Of course.
And, it's not just those who have the guns. There are people who raise the funding.
Don't get me wrong. That was just an example. That was just an example.
There are people who
even the former senator Adolphus Dolo, even Yeke Kolu, all these people, they are at influential positions. So how are we going to get them?
Yeah, when we have a lot of them who are even in the executive branch of government right now.
Yes.
We have some of them who are in the judiciary. All branches of government got these people, and they are in position of trust. There's a need for us to just take on the wheel, to just put that past behind us so that Liberia can have the right trajectory to proceed.
But do you see the possibility of the implementation of even the TRC? Because I know the TRC
there's a huge possibility. A couple of years ago, it was seen to be very much impossible. But in less than just few days, for instance, the House of Representatives were able to get signature that exceeded the two-third majority that is required. So in the House, it's already a done deal. We believe that there's engagement going with people in the Senate, because the president is asking for opinion. The president has the responsibility to go out of the lobby, but the president wants the coordination between the branches or among the branches of government.
Honorable Domah, I don't want us to dwell so much on the president, because the president is, don't get me wrong, I support this president. I want this president to succeed. But the president has been very, very inconsistent when it comes to the TRC and the war crime code thing.
I agree with you.
The president gave a beautiful speech on war crime code. When the president got back to Liberia, it was their story. So just having signatures doesn't mean that this is going to work out.
Let me just speak to that. I know there are people who say this is not going to be possible or so. The president asked the legislature for advice, right? I don't think the president, in my mind, is trying to use the legislature as a scapegoat for not implementing the TRC report. If that was the intention of the president, I think the president is proceeding wrongly, and the president is definitely going to, listen to the will of the people. Because if we pass it in the House and the Senate pass it, squarely everyone will be looking up to the president for the implementation to sign that.
So do we have the funding?
So, before you come to that, overall, what's the plan? How do you plan to move forward with the, I don't know if what you were asked for were only suggestion, yes or no, but has it regards the implementation? What's the plan?
Well, let me just let you know that there are a lot of international partners. I serve on the Committee on Claim and Petition that the petition for the establishment of War and Economic Crime Code was presented to. Our committee work with international partners as well. We know Liberia does not have the resources now to say they are going to fund the establishment of the court. But once the government agrees to establish it, there are people out there who want to see justice prevail in Liberia, and those people are willing to sponsor the establishment of the court. So yes, there are huge goodwill out there, and there's a possibility that this court is going to be established for the prosecution of people who have committed crimes in Liberia.
So our hope is somebody is going to do it for us. We ourselves, we don't have
the resources.
The clear-cut plan has how we will proceed.
You know, now the lack of resources will always be excuses in African countries for the wrongs that our governance system does against our people. So if the government is crying for resources and there are partners who are willing, I think we have to tap on their goodwill to see to it that justice prevails in our country.
So in this case, let's assume there's no partner. Nobody wants to tap in their resources into this.
Yeah.
What do we have in the budget? Just in case.
The budget that was just passed had nothing for the establishment of the court.
No, let's forget about the court, just the implementation of the TRC itself.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's nothing in there. I didn't see anything on any budget line on the implementation of the TRC report.
So if you guys sign on this thing that, like you told us, the House have already signed off on it. Now we are waiting for the Senate to sign off on it. So when both houses agree on that thing, are we expected to see some kind of funding in the next budget?
Definitely. If we the House of Representatives advocates the national resources, right? The budget is initiated by the House. If the House can agree for the court to be established, I believe strongly that during the next budget year, there will be a provision in the budget for the establishment of that court.
Because we can't continue to be relying on outside sources. Because when people come to help us, they want to know what we have.
I agree. I agree. I agree 100%. We have to show some level of responsibility as well.
Okay.
Let's go on the next issue of the different propositions that originated in the Senate, and I think those were concurred by the representative. So one of it is the proposition include the dual citizenship clause.
Yeah.
That's proposition 1. Reduction of tenure of the president, vice president, and members of the legislature.
Yeah.
That's proposition 2. And then the date of the elections. That's proposition 3. The Senate the Senate started, and then the House concurred. Give us more details of what happened.
Yes, I think these prepositions are appropriate. There are a lot of challenges that our constitutions are faced with right now, and I think there's a need. For me, in my mind, if we have the resources, the entire constitution will be rewritten, because there are a lot of things that are not meeting with present-day realities. So looking at our resources, the president the executive saw a fit, to propose to the legislature those amendments that we are talking about. The one for the reduction in our tenures, the tenures of elected officials, I agree with it. And I felt that it was even going to be lower than that. Before the 1986 Constitution, people were going for 4 years. That is the president, vice president, the House of Representatives, and the Senate were going for 6 years. We hope that.
So who changed that? Who changed that?
Well, the Constitution changed that when President Doe, when the Second Republic was introduced and the Constitution was done, that was the time they were introduced, to 6 years and 9 years respectively. So we hope that I was thinking that we're going to go back, but in the wisdom of the executive, maybe looking at the resources when it comes to the frequency of conducting elections, they felt that they should do it 5 and 7 years respectively. So we agree with that. Also, normally during the time of elections, the turnout can be challenging because It is done in the middle of the rainy season. Roads are challenging and so forth. So it is being pushed to a month. I think that's something that all of us, except those of us who are going through elections, we understand what they're talking about. So we agree because we want higher participation of our citizens. And also the issue of dual citizenship, that was also brought. But in the minds of the executive, they wanted also to have a very unlimited, but we feel that looking at the system that we have, accountability issues, transparency issues in our system, we feel that for now, dual citizenship should be limited to Liberians only. If you have one or two of your parents, who are Liberians, yes, you can be a citizen of another country and still become citizen of Liberia. We said the issue of bringing in other nationalities, we can look at that later. One thing about constitutional law, there are always room for amendment. So until our system can be strengthened and competition can be encouraged in our system, we feel that it should be restricted to citizens of Liberia.
So, Dennis, why you laughing?
Go ahead.
because that's where I stay, right? Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm not saying it because I'm against the proposition for the dual citizenship under Domah, but I'm just this person who's kind of curious to know about something. And I read when I read the bill, and I have a copy here. And now you have just even agreed that this bill is for Liberians, right?
Yeah.
Liberians. So it was targeted.
Yeah.
It was targeted at Liberians who the Constitution recognized as Liberians, regardless of where they were born or raised, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So then, in this case, Honorable Domah, then we don't have a dual citizenship. Because when and then you can come in to educate me, because this is about it's an interactive discussion, so you can come in to get your point. But I'm just looking at dual citizenship in this way. Say, for example, if America, or let's say Nigeria or Ghana, if they were doing a bill that is solely targeting people that they call their citizens, because you just acknowledge us to be Liberian citizen, right?
Yeah.
You also acknowledge our children to be Liberian citizen because they were born.
Sure.
Like, I have two daughters, both of them. Yeah, their parents are Liberians, so they are considered Liberians under the Liberian Constitution. Am I right?
That's it depends on their citizenship. As we speak, even if you were born, raised in Liberia, and you go to another country and declare your citizenship there, you are denied certain rights in Liberia.
And what are those rights?
For instance, the right to be elected into certain positions and to hold some positions.
Are those rights in the Constitution? These are the rights that you and fellow honorable people decided to list.
To restore.
Okay.
The rights that the Constitution is denying you as a Liberian. We are saying no, they are our citizens, and they can come back.
The Constitution, Honorable Domah, the Constitution did not deny any born Liberian, not a Liberian. The Constitution did not take away, the Constitution cannot take away one's birth rights.
No, the Constitution says that when you are above 18 and you decide to take a citizenship in another country, your rights, certain rights that you're supposed to have in Liberia, can be denied. You can go back to that and read it more. I don't have it on the machine here to read it. To quote it.
I have it here. Mr. Domah, what is the purpose of the restrictions in that proposition, restricting natural born Liberians who are dual citizens now from holding certain positions?
They are not
trying to prevent.
Well, the copy, I don't know if that's the same version of the copy of the bill you got there.
I got
But
the bill.
the copy that I got,
I got the
the
bill.
copy that,
I got the.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I got to read it because sometimes, you know, there are a lot of things that
So
happen.
let me just read it for. Let me just read it. Let me just read this part of the bill that I have, right?
Yeah.
And I have it here, and I also saw your signature on this.
Yeah.
So it says that a natural born. I'm going to read the reason for proposed amendment. Okay.
Yeah.
As a consequence of the Civil War, hundreds of Liberians fled Liberia as refugees, assumed residency in other countries, and obtained citizenship of other countries. Many obtained citizenship because that was the only way for them to get certain jobs or to enjoy certain opportunities, such as education. Most of these Liberians also had children and continue to have children who are automatically citizens of the countries of their birth. And these Liberians are citizens of the country of their birth, which is Liberia. Just wanted to get that fact. So that's our birth.
That's your interpretation. That's what you interpret.
No, but that's our. But Honorable Domah, can you take away somebody's birthright? Do you know that naturalization can be taken away from you? Do you know that naturalization can be taken away from you, but not your birthright?
No, your birthright cannot be taken away.
Okay.
But our constitution says that when you. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I just want us to understand where we're coming from.
We are. I'm just saying.
Okay.
You still calling us Liberians. You still calling our brothers and sisters Liberians, even though you say they flee the Civil War, but you still calling them Liberians. So let's continue continue with the amendment.
There are some of them would.
Go ahead, Mr. Honorable Domah, with why you did the restrictions. You were coming to that.
No, I gotta read this. This is about
what I'm saying.
Let me explain about the restriction. We're
gonna come to the restriction. But this is the amendment. This is the proposed amendment. So we have to get that clear, because when you want to do dual citizenship, then it should not be targeted as imagine if America or Nigeria, other people were just doing dual citizenship, just targeting their citizens who left and went to other countries. So this is how I see this bill to be very discriminatory, because you are targeting one group of people.
Right. So let him explain.
And these people you are targeting, they are your own fellow Liberians.
Right. So
and you make measure in this amendment that these people, they fled their country because of a civil war. So you targeting them, and you are also restricting them of their birthrights. So then what are some of the things have you put in place to identify whether or not they are U.S. citizens or not? But I also want to make you to understand that a naturalization can be stripped away from a Liberian who have gone through naturalization. They can be stripped away from them.
Right.
So once it is stripped away and you come back to Liberia, you are still accepted as Liberian citizen, right?
So why you wanted to be why you decided to do a bill that just targeting your fellow Liberians and you continue to call
that's why listen, the rationale behind it is because we have the provision of the Constitution that restricts you when you declare your citizenship in another country. We agree there are people who run away because of war and so forth. Yet there are a lot of them who did not declare their citizenship in those countries. Okay? So, but when you go and say, okay, I'm denying my citizenship from a country of birth, and I want to become a citizen of this country.
You're not denying it.
Yes, you deny it.
No, you're not denying it. Honorable Domah, I gave you an example. There are people. I'm looking at the birthright. I'm looking at dual citizenship. Dual citizenship is only done, say for example, a person who was not born in this country and came to Liberia and want to go through naturalization. You call them dual citizens. Like Americans will call other people who were born somewhere and went through their naturalization, their immigration process, they call them dual citizens. But America will never deny any Americans, regardless of where you go to acquire citizenship of your birthright.
But the 1986 Constitution, prior to this bill, still restrict you whether you were born in Liberia or not. Once you have gone and have obtained citizenship in another country, you are restricted by the Constitution. And I think that's where the amendment is coming in. The proposed amendment is coming in. The 1986 Liberian Constitution restricts you once you declare your citizenship in another country.
But does that Constitution take into consideration how many Liberians, how many elected presidents, the history of Liberia in their leadership style? Almost all of the leaders that Liberia have had, they were all born elsewhere.
Well, I'm saying whether it has been done or not, the restriction is there on the Constitution. Okay?
So
whether it has not been implemented, the restrictions are there. And we are saying, what's the need of having all of the restrictions when we are not even following it anyway? Let's remove them. And that's the removal you see in the bill there.
And then you restrict them. You restrict them. So what's the economic benefit of restricting your fellow Liberians?
Exactly. That's what I want.
What's the economic benefit of that?
That's what I want him to come to. What's the purpose, Honorable Domah, what's the purpose of the restrictions?
I think the restriction is for national security. It's not so much about the economic benefit. It's about security concern of the nation. Somebody who has allegiance to another country, you cannot, for instance, take them to become the president of the republic. Okay. You know, when they are not denied allegiance to that country, they can do anything, and they will plunge the country in jeopardy. Okay. So, yeah, these restrictions are coming based on security advice.
Okay, so a minister of education, for instance, a deputy minister of internal affairs.
You know, I keep hearing people that ministers and deputy ministers were restricted. I think there were certain ministries. It's not all of the ministries. For instance, the minister of defense.
So what about public offices, Honorable Domah? What about public offices?
That's what I'm saying. The portion you got.
Elected positions.
Yes, you can be elected. The copy of the bill I got, you can be elected, but you cannot serve as Speaker of the House. When you are elected.
That's not a bill. They say the Senate passed and you guys can call on though.
No,
I understand the House of Representatives portion of the bill. It has to do with the vice president, the presidency, and then some security apparatus.
Yeah.
And then they said when you run for public offices and you can contest to be Speaker or Pro Tem. That's the House of Representatives version of the bill. But the one that the Senate did, they stripped everything. In fact, they denied people all these things, and then they said that, and then you guys can call on it.
No, I don't know if we went there. That means we got to go back and look at it because
that's what I have here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So there seems to be a confusion on the version.
If our signature is there, then that's not what we agree to. Normally, if you pass a bill in the lower house or in the upper house, and the other house is to concur, and there's a conference committee that is set, and those committees have to come back to the house to report. So if there are restrictions and those conference committees did not come to report to us, then I think we have to go back to it.
All right. Let me bring in a caller. Let me bring in a caller on the line.
That's the bill that I have here, and
that means we have to go back to set up a conference committee and come up with a harmonized bill that can be passed by the two houses.
Right. Let me bring up.
Because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to want to restrict, because imagine if America was restricting all your citizens from acquiring citizenship in this country.
I agree.
Hello.
Hello.
Call out your name and where you calling from.
Yeah, my name is Merlinson Yadro, calling from New Jersey.
Merlinson, welcome to Focus on Liberia. Your question or comment?
Yeah, thank you so much. First of all, I want to welcome the Honorable Domah. Welcome to the United States.
Thank you, Mr. Yadro.
And I want to make clarity on certain things that I've been hearing over the media, and I was just hearing from the show that it has to do with the responsibility of Liberia to fund the War Crime Court. I think War Crime Court, as we all know, and we have seen two of those, like Rwanda and Sierra Leone, It was funded by the international community. It was established by the international community and funded by the international community. Those prosecutors and the judges were all paid by the international community. It was not Rwanda that paid them or Sarah that paid them. Even when it comes to the TRC that was set up in Liberia after the Ghana Peace Accord, TRC was fully funded by the international community. It was not Liberia government. So for somebody to be thinking that Liberia does not have money to sponsor the War Crime Code, it is not Liberia's responsibility. Everything is just left with the international community to see reason to establish our code so that we can have perpetrator brought to justice.
Okay.
Issue is. And secondly, the honorable man is talking about the restriction that the people have on the dual citizen. I say I have serious problem with it. When you look at the list of Liberia president from Joseph Jiggy Rabo all the way to maybe above 10, they were all United States born citizens. People born in the United States became president of Liberia. Even up to now, as we speak, woman like Ellen Johnson said he has United States citizenship. She became president of Liberia. Some of the current senators in Liberia, even if the president are United States citizens, are they changing the law now restricting people? It's very bad. You want Liberians to come home to contribute, but you put a restriction on them? Look at Ghana, look at Nigeria. Those laws don't exist there. That citizens go all the way around the world, they take that money, they carry back to their home to go invest in there to or if you restrict your own citizens, you think they will be pleased? Their mind will not be open to take that money back to Liberia to do something with it. So that law is not good. They agree that they move one step forward by passing it into law, but the condition they attach to it is not worth it. They got to go back to remove the condition. My contribution.
Thank you, Mr. Yadolo. And even right here, the honorable is not sure whether of the two versions. So something needs to be harmonized because the version from the Senate has restrictions on ministers, deputy ministers, heads of public corporation, chief justice,
autonomous agency, research agency, all the different things.
Right. So we want
all the positions.
Yeah, and running for public offices, all these different things. I said the Senate took out everything. That's what I'm saying. Which one of the bill did the honorable man sign? Was it like he forgot that the Senate did their own version of the bill and he mistakenly signed off on it? I don't understand.
So we'll be curious. So thank you, Mr.
They have to back to them.
Yeah,
they have to bring it back to them.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Sure.
Yeah. We lost the honorable man. But if you're just joining us, this is focused on Liberia.
Hopefully the honorable man can rejoin the conversation.
Yeah, he will join. And in the meantime, because it's a very serious issue, if we not sure of even the version of the bill, so we hope the honorable will provide clarity on what is the actual bill that was signed. If there is a harmonized bill, we need to see that, and we need to see what's in it.
The bill is right here.
Yeah.
The bill that has everybody's signature, including his signature.
Exactly.
The bill that came from the Senate and it was concurred on.
Exactly. So
you see, this is my Dennis, like I was telling the honorable man earlier, this is my disappointment with the laws that our legislature or government or institution always try to make. When you don't come out to tell people about the laws that you are making and how it's going to affect them or how it's going to be implemented, they don't know. They are not aware of it. Yeah. And that's why a lot of time in our country, people are doing a lot of things because they are unaware of what's going on. So you can't continue to create laws and you're not educating the public about the laws that you're making, right. And then you expect them to obey the laws. They are not going to do it. You're going to have a lot of resistance.
First of all, a law like this that affect people, you go back to your constituents to talk about it, even before signing it, so that people, and then the diaspora community being this huge and is impacted by the law, what stopped them from coming to discuss it?
Yes.
If they were running for position, or if the government needed something, they pay money to have town hall meetings in the diaspora. But when it comes to the laws that affect people in the diaspora, you keep it, you play this to your chest until boom, it is signed.
Yeah.
I think that way
We need to be telling our people what we are doing on behalf of them, so they are aware. And that's how people learn about the law. That's how they learn to respect the law. But when you continue to put your signature to stop while your community is not even aware of, and then when it passes into law, the people refuse to obey what you pass into law, then you say they have been disrespectful of the law. No, they are not aware of the law. You have to teach people in order for them to practice what you taught them. But our society is just like that. Everything, and that's why I was telling him, why would they create laws in their own house that would prevent them from communicating with their constituent, like the Honorable Mayor admitted here? They got laws in their house, in the House of Senate, the legislature, that prevent them from talking out. When they talk out, they punish them. I don't think they should be punished. They should be able to communicate with their constituents. These are the people who elected them. Nobody should punish you for speaking out.
We have two more callers on the line. So let
I think Honorable Domah is back with us.
Yeah, he's joining us now. Let's give him a few minutes. While he's joining, there are a few comments on Facebook that I want to read.
Okay.
Yeah, the comments on Facebook, Emmanuel Tose, the Senate says you cannot contest for representative, senator, and the rest. Then Fanjai Basaka say, why are you people want to be naturalized American citizens and play in our government politics? By our government, I mean like
So don't they have foreigners in other countries who are naturalized Americans and they still participating? That's why it's called dual. That's why I'm saying, like, then don't pass a bill to call it dual citizenship. Nobody in a hurry for that. But if you must do something, then you must do it right.
Another comment from Emmanuel Breve Duje. What mechanism will Liberia have in place to monitor dual citizenship? We should be more concerned about economic recovery that will attract investment. All right, let me see if I can.
Honorable Domah, let's see if we can get the Honorable Mayor to settle in.
Yeah, my phone was going dead, so I'm just I'm just getting back.
Okay, we can see you now.
Okay. I'm sorry for the interruption.
We thought you just left us like that.
No. I'm enjoying the interaction. I was getting more frustrated now.
Let me bring on Aliu Kamara.
Massa won't think I'm running away from all of the questions.
Yes,
No. I just messed with you.
Aliu Kamara. Your question?
Yes, Aliu Kamara here.
Where are you calling from, Aliu?
I'm calling from Maryland.
Maryland, your question or comments, sir. Welcome to Focus on Liberia. You have the honorable man.
Yeah. You know, they show not easy. We get plenty of iron lady in Liberia, man. Hey, matter. But she just got me laughing here like crazy. But here's the thing. Let me say thank you to the honorable man. We have something that we 100% concord with, which is the War Crime Code. I think any Liberian who is meaningful and patriotic will recognize the fact that Liberia needs to reintroduce the culture of this impunity, put it that way, for the lack of a better word. For time immemorial, Liberians have committed crime and atrocity against humanity and just get away with it because of our customary practices. Oh, this man is my cousin, that man is my brother. You know, and even Ella Justice Salish tried to play that card when she's been interviewed overseas, why she had to hire her kids into a position that they weren't qualified for, why they invested so much money, and she said she takes responsibility, but then the judicial process did nothing about that. It's the whole thing about Palaba Hut she's playing. We're not going to play that. When people commit crime, whether it's economic crime, whether it's other crime that should be dealt with. The issue of the War Crime Code,
this is where me and most of the other advocates fall apart. The dual citizenship, I'm sorry. I don't think there's anything big about this dual citizenship thing. I think this thing is just formality. People are taking it too deep, too big. See, I'm an American citizen. I have an American passport. Born in Firestone, Margibi County. Naval strain was planted in Timor District, a place called Jogger Town behind Firestone. Nobody sitting in the House or Senate or in George Weah's office can tell me where I'm a citizen of or where I'm not a citizen. I know where I'm from. Yeah. I'm from Firestone. So why people worry about this stuff so much? You know, you got land in Liberia, Dennis. Anytime you go to Liberia, who there can really stop you say you can't enter Liberia? The only thing we do here as people with dual citizenship is that we pay for visa. That's it. But whenever we enter Liberia, nobody bothers us. So what's the issue?
You
That's
just reminded me about a comedian. It's like, why you're getting fast when you're talking like Liberia? Like you're dual citizen.
Hey, you have nothing to worry about. You're giving Honorable Domah a hard time for nothing.
No, we don't
get what do you get to worry about?
Thank you, Aliyu. I told people I said dual citizenship is only in Morocco.
You see, Aliyu. No, Dennis, I'm gonna cut Aliyu. Aliyu just talk about the law of war crime courts. How people should be held responsible for whatever crime that they committed. And then Aliyu is telling us that we shouldn't discuss a bill that is discriminatory. And when that bill becomes a law, when people try to break the laws of that bill, are we not going against the law, Aliyu?
Masa, let me just tell you this. Like I said before, we make it too much of it. The honorable man rightly said there is something called amendment in any given situation. This is Judge Weah's government. First of all, let me just say this to everybody. Judge Weah as an individual might not even sign that bill because Judge Weah is a proponent of dual citizenship. Judge Weah have no problem with anybody. As you can see, the influence of Ghanaian, Guinean, Sierra Leone, or into Liberia. Judge Weah don't even care how much Liberian criticize these people. Everybody is, just Africans in Judge Weah's eyes. And what these guys are doing, they're doing a piece of job, that is required of them by virtue of their positions. Okay. Dual citizen or not dual citizen, we who were born in Liberia will always be Liberian regardless of what kind of bill is passed. Now, as we're talking, the people who are passing the bill, Master, a lot of them have American passports.
That's true.
So it's just formality. It's just a formality. So what we do, let's let this go. Let something at least be structured. You understand what I'm saying? 2020 comes, we got another barrage of representatives or the same group of representatives. We'll go to them and have this thing discussed. But this is one thing a councillor said yesterday. If we have problem with this thing, it's time to file some sort of prohibition. These guys that are senators and representatives are Liberians just like us, and they're reasonable people. Let us go to the legal process. I hear us on Facebook, yell and shout and this and that. I don't care. I got property in Liberia. When I go to Bon County to my grandma's farm, let me see who can tell me say not Liberian. So I'm not worried about the bill. I don't care about that bill.
Aliyu.
Thank you, Aliyu.
For intellectual purposes, we are concerned about the bill.
Thank you, Aliyu. At least Masa didn't cut you off.
For intellectual purposes, we are concerned about the bill.
No, that's his opinion, Masa. Let's move on to another caller. Caller, your name, where you calling from?
Oh, I'm calling from North Carolina. My name is Hamlet Colley.
Which Colley? The first name, please?
Hamlet Colley.
Hamlet, welcome to Focus
from North Carolina.
Your question or comment?
Let me first of all commend Focus on Liberia platform. I appreciate all of you guys, the services rendered to we, the Liberian people, and also welcome the Honorable Domah.
Thank you, Mr. Colley.
I appreciate the time you took up to come and interact with your people in the diaspora. Let me start with the and thank you for the services rendered to the nation. Let me start with the educational aspect. I think there are a whole lot of things going on back home that we are not paying serious attention to, especially when it comes to the education of the young people in the country.
Yeah.
And these are the succeeding generation that we are hoping that they will come and take over from us tomorrow. And if we want a better tomorrow, we really got to put strong emphasis on our education. The education in the country is getting bad off, and parents are not sending their children to school. It's going back again to 14 years of war. You may not understand it when I say war. It will be economic war, and then the economy will get, the citizenry will start going backward again. It will start deteriorating. When it comes to the dual citizenship, I would just concur with the brother that just called. In no way that I can go to Liberia and somebody will say, Collie, you are not a Liberian. That's formality. Yeah. It's like the old law. We had the old law hanging in there. What's the implementation what's the effect it ever had on the nation? There was no effect. Okay, so it's a process. It's a gradual process. It will really agree to this law and coming up to upgrading the law. We got to take it from a gradual level. It got to be done on a gradual level. And it don't have to be too harsh. It don't have to be too restricting. And it's a gradual process. So let us not just...
It got to align with current happening. Like those old laws.
Right.
It just so, I don't know how to describe it.
Okay.
In fact, there are a whole lot of common laws that we have in the country. There are those very simple norms of society that the government is not even implementing. Look at the red light. The men can run through the red light and policemen will not even implement the law.
That's it.
So let us forget about this. This thing is too big for us for now.
They see people who are at higher position, they see people breaking the laws, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, just conclude so the honorable will respond, because we can't say, oh, the law means nothing. The law is the law.
Of course, the law is the law. We can't say that.
Okay. Let me just conclude on the war crime code. Okay. When it comes to the war crime code, the situation with the war crime code, I think it will take effect. The implementation will come, but the timing of it is what we should be curious about. Presently, the present economy, the way the country is running, we cannot force it now, but let it be on a gradual process. Let it be on dialogue. Let it be on smooth landing. It will definitely go to the country. Okay? It will definitely take place, but it got to be on a smooth ride. It shouldn't be too harsh, because at this point, the country is already in a critical position. So it's going to land there. It will land there, but on a smooth ride.
Thank you.
That's what I have to contribute.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
We have 2 minute callers here, so I want the honorable to respond first before we move on.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I was off for a moment, so I didn't get some of the callers. But I just want Massa and all of the advocates here to know that, the issue of law is a gradual process. We thank God that now some of the restrictions in the Constitution have been loosening up for our citizens. And I know once our system is strengthened, there are more amendments that will start to come. I'm also taking note of the version you got there, because, as I said, from the House of Representatives, what we passed was different. If there's a different version from the upper house, there need to be a conference committee, before we can agree, and it will be sent to the president for signing into law. So I'm taking note of those restrictions, and as soon as we return, we will be bringing that. As I said from the beginning, I read that there was a consideration to rediscuss that particular proposition.
Yeah,
I read that from the page. I read that from the page of Honorable Clarence Massacre.
Yeah.
So if there's a consideration, I believe it's against that backdrop that the Senate has different version and we have different version, and there's a need for us to harmonize it before we can pass it into law.
Can we have a copy of your version, Honorable Domah?
I got my copy, but I didn't bring it with me. I got my copy. It's in
And
Liberia.
I got the representative copy of it.
Okay,
The standard copy, the representative copy of it is what he stated, like
Yeah.
the president say, the vice president say, and then the Senate Pro Tem, and then
Yeah.
the speaker. Those are the and some security, high profile
Yeah.
security apparatus.
Yeah.
So that was the House of Representative version. But then
Yeah.
when it went to the Senate, they went and took out everything. If you add up to it, making them more restricted, as though they are targeting their own brothers and sisters, and that's what I have problem with. Like you cannot create laws that targeting your brothers and sisters, and then when you come to the diaspora, you say we want to meet with the Liberian community. Why are you calling us Liberian community when you say we are foreigners?
Interesting.
Okay, let me bring in one more caller. Caller, your name and where you calling from? Caller?
My name is Emmanuel. Hello.
Emmanuel.
Yeah, my name is Emmanuel. I'm calling from Rhode Island.
Welcome to Focus on Liberia. Your question or comment?
Okay, thank you. It's it's like comment, but it's not. I just want to welcome our honorable man, Ligause. Honorable welcome.
Thank you, Emmanuel.
Yeah, thank you so much for the topic on the discussion. The previous caller just, mentioned about the dual citizenship to be not so important. I look at it to be very important because the reason is, in the past, the times of law that still hunting us back home. At that time, our parents never had the hand to afford and they brought about a monetary value which has to do with certain amount worth of property before you contest for elected position. It still hunt people. And now, at that time, our people never had a hand to contest for any public offices. Okay. That was the reason why we used to see people who were wealthy in position at that time. But now, they are coming up with another proposition that will deny people. Yeah. If you say because the person is residing in that part and he has become citizen for another country, he or she should not be elected as representative or senator. Definitely, we are here for different things. Then how will you get expertise in your country? How will you get people to contribute immensely to the growth and development of our country?
Emmanuel.
So that law, yeah.
Emmanuel, before you continue, we don't want to behave like we in America, we the only expertise, right? So we got expertise in Liberia too. So
yeah, we should just focus on the restriction part of it because we are all brothers and sisters, regardless of where we find ourselves, Liberia, our country. Almost all the diaspora Liberians I see here, they got families in Liberia, they got businesses in Liberia, they got their horses in Liberia. So there's no way you can say they are your brothers and sisters and then you try to restrict them only because you think you're going through naturalization. So that's where I want a conversation for people and our own brothers and sisters who are fortunate enough to be lawmakers to be able to ready examine those kind of stuff. We can be your brothers and sisters.
Yeah, that's why I'm just trying to appeal to them so they can read.
America can take it for you.
Yeah, let them. Of course.
Thank you.
So we are just appealing to them to reconsider that decision and see what best to do for our citizens. Thank you.
Thank you. Before I bring in the next caller, Honorable Domah, because this is another point that we want to go to before, because the time is fast spent. On the reduction of the salary for lawmakers. Honorable Darius Dillon of the Senate already let the cat out of the bag. Is there any danger to you announcing your salary on Focus on Liberia?
I don't think I have any danger. When I appeared on your platform last year, I said I was making something around 8,000, 8,500. I remember saying that. I was not definite because of the way the payment was being done. The salary payment was being done. So that's something that we have not been keeping tight lip on. Besides that, on the reduction of salaries, prior to my election, some of us called for that. We felt that with our economy, and the kind of needs we have in the country, it was not necessary for us to make so much money in the country. So the reduction of salary is welcoming. Well, all of us welcome it. We hope is. My only concern has been that it should be a national program where cuts will be directed to in those specific areas that our people will benefit. For instance, if you cut my salaries now, I've been helping a lot of people go to hospital, for instance, when they are sick and they don't have the means, and they send a lot of young people to school, and then you cut it. And then at the end of the day, you're still not supporting our educational program in the country, and our health facilities are still poor. I think there where some of us have difference with what is happening.
But Domah, don't you think that's where now you can use your oversight responsibility to ensure that these things are done?
I agree with you. I think the oversight responsibility has been there before. It has not been adequate, and I hope that all of us can just put our feet on the ground now to exert more force in exercise that responsibility.
Yeah.
And still on salary.
And that money can also open the private sector, like everybody just depending on government jobs. What about government putting some kind of money into the budget that will be able to support organizations like the way we, excuse me, I my first experience I had in Liberia working in government was at the Senate. I used to be when I just graduated from high school, I was the secretary to the late Senator Isaac Johnson from Liberia County. I didn't stay long, and then I came to America. I mean, I was much younger back then. But I just looking at it from my own career background, say right now I work with the state, right? And the state has a lot of programs that the government try to put a budget into the state budget, and the state will then use that budget to work with organizations in the state here, in the state of Delaware, that will be able to provide services for the most vulnerable in the society, and also be able to provide employment opportunity for those people who will be providing the services for our less privileged people. Don't you think that's something like Liberia can do, instead of people relying on government job, government then invest into different kind of programs in the private sector that will be able to help our citizens?
That's something we don't just need to do, but we are very much in need of it.
Yeah.
A program like that. I think that's the reason why we need, to get rid of impunity. I was aware of a lot of programs that the UP-led government brought. For instance, we participated in a program under the Ministry of Commerce to empower, small-scale, entrepreneurial programs.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people that monies were given to. Those monies were just, for their own reasons. They were never accounted for. There are people who they were given. Somebody is interrupting here.
Yeah, they're trying to call you. Maybe
there are people who went to bank and took loans, bank scheme, and they expected people to be responsible in our country. Loans were given, and those loans up to today they were never paid. So those programs have been introduced before, but they have not been successful. And just as you rightly said, Massa, all of these require educating the public. Before you put the money in the budget, the public has to be aware that you are doing it for their good, you are doing it for their own benefit, and when they get the money, they got to use it for that purpose. The last year in the budget, there was I think something like $3 million, $2 million or $3 million placed there for entrepreneurship development. And whether that money was disbursed or not, that's something that the Committee on Ways and Means need to tell us, because they got oversight responsibility over the Ministry of Finance that was disbursing that. So all of these things can be done, but then the results are not forthcoming. That's a discouraging thing about it. So we just need more education in Liberia.
People are not.
And we need people to build up the integrity as they serve the public and serve the people of their community.
So, Mr. Domah, staying on the salary issue, we know that salary reduction is not restricted to the legislature alone. Are you also aware of people in the executive making huge salaries that need to be cut as well? And if yes, what is the House doing about that?
Well, I'm not getting you. You are so low.
Yeah, because they're calling the phone, so it's reducing your volume. Can you hear me better?
Huh?
Can you hear me better?
I'm trying. Somebody was trying to call on Messenger, and then
that's what happened.
Yeah, they got this thing just.
So go back to the volume on your phone and increase the
Whoever
volume.
is calling the honorable man on Messenger or whatever means, please stop. He's on a live show.
Yeah.
All right. Is it better? Can you hear me better?
It's still low. I put up the volume. But it's still
I think he gotta go off and come back on.
Yeah, that would be.
You can hear him? Can you hear him?
I'm hearing you.
Yeah, I can hear him.
It's still low.
I can hear him, but you gotta go off and come out.
I should go off and come on?
Yeah, we don't want
you
to
gotta go off and come back on.
Okay.
All right. So, caller, go ahead. We can take your question when the honorable comes back on.
Sure, no problem. Thanks so much. My name is Francis B. I'm calling from Canada, Alberta. How you doing?
Francis, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thank you so much. Well, I just want to be straight. I want to be direct. Your co-host on the Massa, is that the name? Am I right?
Massa.
Sorry?
Massa.
Massa. Okay, go perfect. All right, I can make it. Well, anyway, she made a very good point. I want to dive into that and support on what she said. And that's one of the problems. Unfortunately, the minister or whatever the guys off the line. You can't be passing law without speaking to the people that empower you. We need to start educate. That's power education. So our lawmakers, before they make decisions, go back to the people that empower you and ask them, say, this is what happened and what do you say? Two, our small lawmakers come in the diaspora and go other places and visit. Then we need to encourage them because we need our people to be able to invest. So if you guys visit the Western world, like, let me get Canada out of the picture. Most people go to America. Very still Liberian lawmakers come to Canada. Most of them go to America. We haven't seen that to open. I live in Edmonton, Alberta. I live in Edmonton, Alberta.
I was in Edmonton last year.
Are you in Edmonton last year? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now what we'll notice that those guys come here in America, they don't visit as a nation. They're going to go on a personal story, and that's wrong. Because when you visit people, there are many Liberians in the diaspora who have good intention. Mm-hmm. The same would happen all Liberians who do something wrong. They still happen all Liberians who do something wrong in Liberia. But you people can't invest in the country when they can't hear you speaking as a leader. So when they appeal to our lawmakers, when you visit the diaspora, try to have a town hall meeting. Forget about the party line. Forget about the our bodies. And hear people's view. Say, for example, I live in Canada. I'm the chairperson for the interim government of my city, Alberta. Our mayors, our premier, we have been talking to help our country. But some of the things we put in place.
Sorry?
Sorry? Yeah, I'm not preacher. I'm not preacher. She's the secretary for the interim government. I know her.
Very involved.
We work on the same team. We work together.
Okay.
Now, we working on all those issues. And it's working. But if our lawmakers trying to turn blind eye to issues that make other people feel angry, people will not be able to do these things. So we love the country. Second, we're appealing to you people. It is wrong for someone to take life away, and the same person that took life away is the same person that instructing people to do the right thing or the wrong thing. It hurts. There's something they call flashback. Mental health also play those side effects or anxiety causes people to react negatively. So the war chronicle, or whatever you want to describe it or in dealing impunity, is necessary. The reason why our country is behind, because our lawmakers, some, not everybody, now, don't get me wrong, some people don't want to look at the reality, but we need to face in the truth. We need to face in the truth to fix things. The last on the list, sir, I appeal to you, when you go back in the house, the focus on the content on the dual citizen issue. That's my opinion. If you will restrict on President, Vice President, Supreme Court,
maybe hold one natural passport, like a Liberian citizen born Liberian. The rest of the people can be dual citizen, but it kind of restriction. What restriction I'm talking about is my issue with discussing our council meeting. I can say, listen, if you're dual citizen holding dual citizen passport, Canadian and a Liberian at the same time, if I commit a crime in Liberia, make sure you notify the Canadian government that Francis committed this crime, and Francis will be tried in Liberia. All those are restrictions. That's how you do things. I'm saying that because this is an issue we channel with our people on the end. I'm a citizen. I also started our lawmaker here. People will give you an idea how you deal with the issue, but when we come out and say, oh, everything we won't compare ourselves with Ghana. Ghana, no offense, Pop, no offense. Remember, Ghana have higher ranking educated people than Liberia. Most are already people in Liberia who have it. They get most people in the diaspora. They get lawyers. Like they live on the show right now. She's talking. We disagreeing right now. No one using perform languages. But if you go by Liberia, we're seeing what happens. Some people don't better read. That's not. Some people don't really read. I watch some people speaking, and you hear them using the old school language, and they say they read. I said, dude, you're not reading. You're joking. So we need to understand that you need to review that dual citizen issue for the sake of peace. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you. And so the rest of our callers, please use not more than 1 minute so we can get through because our time is fast spent.
And
let's just take a few callers and then we can close the broadcast.
Okay, thanks.
Next caller, your name and where you calling from. You have 1 minute.
Hi, my name is George Gunpool. I'm calling from New Jersey.
George, welcome to Focus on Liberia. Your question or comment?
Okay, I want to thank Representative Domah, and I also want to thank your guest, Martha. And
thank you,
want
Judge.
to make 2 comments. One on the salary issue, and 2 on the dual citizenship issue.
Go ahead, Dr.
First, the salary issue. Yeah, on the salary issue, I think that cutting salary is not a strategy for economic development. I think that if there are people who are earning salaries that is excessive, is beyond their contribution, there should be a comprehensive review across government to make sure that people are paid according to their productivity. The turning of this salary issue into a political event as a way of campaigning to say, oh, I will cut salary, I will cut salary. When you cut salary, it basically leads to less spending, it leads to less output in the economy. So seeing it as an economic development strategy, seeing it as a popular thing that so many people like, I think there is a need. I would recommend that the government set up a committee or a commission to review salary across the entire government and to really make sure the salaries are according to productivity and what people are really worth. On the dual citizenship issue, I think I agree with Massa. I think that no Liberian should have any right or any power to take from other Liberians what is their fundamental right. The issue of restricting people due to the fact that they are called so-called dual citizens, I think that especially when you look at the version that came from the Senate, they're talking about the listing some positions. But consider the fact that they do not restrict people from joining the police. They do not restrict people from joining the military. They do not restrict people from becoming a driver. Well, the last time I checked, a military officer carries a gun, a police officer can carry a gun, a representative does not carry a gun. He can only vote. So if you start restricting people from the representative position, then I don't know what it makes sense to not restrict people from joining the military, because those people can cause even more damage. let the voters decide who represent them. I think this kind of restriction is a calculated attempt by some lawmakers to protect themselves and to protect their jobs and to avoid competition. So it doesn't make sense to be restricting other Liberians. So that's my comment.
Thank you, Dr. Gompo.
I just wanted to make a point before Honorable Domah comes in. I think the quarter talks about salary reduction. I don't think this government is the one that initiated the salary reduction, right, Honorable Domah? I think it was the IMF.
Yeah, the IMF came up with that. But even before that, during the Edens administration, there was a process of reviewing, setting up a commission to look at how salaries are set. So that's a long-term process before IMF could even come in.
And I think it's good, right? I think it's commendable. I think it's commendable.
Salaries are just being arbitrarily set by individuals. Anyone come, well, if you like the president, you set them high salaries. If you don't like them, you set low salaries.
Right now, I was looking at the salary of the speaker, the speaker of the house. What are you guys doing about that? That's just too much.
Well, I think that where the confusion is right now, because in the harmonized bill, we all agree that salaries were going to cut. For instance, we know that the take-home pay of the speaker is supposed to be around 13,000 as of now, from what we know. And so to understand that that did not take effect after the budget was passed, I think is a violation of the law. So when we get back, all of us are going to look into that. That was agreed.
So look into that. That's just too much.
Why it was not enforced? It was influenced. These are some of the economic crimes we're talking about.
Yeah.
The law is passed, and then, if you allow the majority to pass a law, and then that law is not enforced, and the people start to play with it behind the crown, I think they should be prosecuted.
That's how the speaker who been so vocal during Madam Sably's time, I think he should know better. That's a lot of money. For a poor country like Liberia, he should know better.
But in the House, there was due diligence done. Even the House budget was presented, and what the reduction was, everything was revealed before the vote was taken. So after the vote, to hear that the speaker and the deputy speaker salaries were not cut, I don't want to believe it. If it is true, then I think
it's not cut. It's not cut.
If it was not cut, then that's something that people can be penalized for severely. That's an economic crime.
Even the vice president, even the president, all these things, higher level position has to be cut. You can reducing civil service that cannot even afford their children's school fee, and
I agree.
Making that lot
I
of
agree.
money.
That's a recipe of complete chaos. And we all just, if we have a national crisis, economic crisis, and we are saying that the solution we have for now is to cut salaries, then everybody got to go through that. You cannot be off the hook, especially those of us who are making so much that the public is crying from. We must make the sacrifices.
Honorable Domah, how much does the speaker and the deputy make?
Well, I understand the speaker has been making around $29,000.
Yes.
And the deputy is around 24, 23. And they were to reduce it. The speaker was to make around 13,000 and the deputy around 9,000. That was what we agreed on when the budget was being passed. So to hear that they did not cut their salaries, that's just unbelievable.
Let me bring in my next caller. Call your name and where you calling from.
Well, Dennis, before the next caller comes on, we have a lot for Mr. Honorable Domah to just brush over. So that person, once they are done, should be the last for now, because we have other issues that we want to already hear from Honorable Domah.
See, Masa, who keeping the thing long? Let's go and call out your name and where you calling from.
Wants more interactions.
Yeah.
We got other issue. Will not see the man again after 1 year.
Call out your name and where you calling from. 30 seconds.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, caller. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Demon. Yeah, my name is Demon Say. I'm calling you from
Pennsylvania.
Okay, Mr. Say your question or comment.
Yeah, my comment is that first of all, I welcome Honorable Domah to the United States.
Thank you very much
for coming and having this good audience with us. At least it is better to talk to you.
Thank you.
My question, my comment lies on the dual citizenship.
Yeah.
People talking about the dual citizenship. We did not come to America and acquire dual citizenship because we deny our country. No, I don't think so. Majority of any background in this country got dual citizenship to protect and fight for their country. The same way we fight for our country. We hold dual citizenship and take part in the governmental process here. That's the only way the government in America will listen to us when we have power in our country, when we need anything for our country. This is what we do. We did not come here to deny our country, to deny our citizenship from our country and take a citizenship from here. No, it's to protect our country. For instance, when Doe was in that war problem and many people were being killed, Liberians at around 2003 or so, we went to Washington, we blocked Washington in order to make sure that they start that war. You know, we went down there just for that, just so that we can protect our people. When government going wrong in Liberia, we go down to Washington and stop and make them to understand that this is the wrong thing. We want you guys to take part. And especially, you should know that Liberia is a small America. Everybody know that.
I know.
You see? That dual citizenship is not, and we can't. See, and we came down here, and we came down here, some of us have gone to medicine and different things. But if we learn, how can we go back and get back to our people and help our people what we have come to learn, the better way we have come to learn? How can we get back? And you stop it off from becoming minister, you stop it off from taking part in the government. Huh? How are we going to learn what we have learned here to give it to our people? How can they benefit from the good thing we have learned? If you stop from doing this as a Liberian citizen.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Say.
I hope we all just understand that this dual citizenship issue did not start today. It started with our constitution way back. And what is going through now is like an amendment to improve on the conditions that are set in the current constitution. I just wanted to have that background as we all discuss the issue. And whatever it is, as I said, my focus is on the version that was passed in the House of Representatives. The issue, the version from the Senate, I'm just coming to light with it. And if that happens, I think there should be a conference committee, you know, that the whole issue can be handled.
Okay, let me get my last caller, and then we can call out your name and where you're calling from.
Hey, Jack, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hello. Okay,
yeah.
Hi, my name is Junior Eastman. I'm calling you from Washington, D.C.
Welcome.
Okay, one quick question. Thank you, Honorable. You're clarifying a lot of things to us. The salary harmonization reduction is quite necessary. First of all, we don't have the budget to support that. And number two, we don't have a justification for exorbitant salaries. Okay, if the people really feel they love Liberia, they will take a salary cut without hesitation. But when they care only about their own families, then they don't. But here's the thing I want to ask. The main problem in Liberia is production. We are not producing. Yes, entrepreneurship, business, yes, that's another services you are rendering. But we're talking about human capital development. Are we developing our people? Because if you give a man skills to make a bed, you make it to do a skill to make money, he would do it. Have we been focusing on human capital development? So long as you develop a person, you will have greater production in the country. And do we have a database? We talk about dual citizenship. Do we have a proper database? We in the age of data analytics that we can tell you what will happen tomorrow. We'll tell you what happened yesterday with descriptive and predictive analysis. But do we use that today? It's a different day we are in now. Do we have a proper database documenting all our citizens, where they are, where they live, so that we can make the proper analysis, so we can address the issues that really will make a difference in Liberia? Without the statistics, without the data, how are we addressing these things?
Well, the first concern is about human capacity building, which, from my own understanding, is a very serious challenge now. I mean, very serious problem that we have in Liberia. There are a lot of us that are going to school, we're going to universities, but the skills, are not there. I think our educational system needs to be revamped and redirected towards the needs of the nation. That's my own understanding about the whole thing.
Even the labor ministry to Honorable Domah.
Yeah. So there is no clear cut. There are a lot of scholarships that are coming, and they are sending people to Morocco, to China, and to other places. Most of them come back and they don't even find job, and they have to run out of the country. So there are a lot of issues. The issue of database, there are some entities that have sporadic database here and there, but you will be able to keep this thing even if you have constant electricity. As we speak, there are times that we go for days without electricity. So to even work with the database is a problem. So we got a lot of challenges, national challenges, that I think we need to focus on. And just to speak to what you said, I think these areas we still have a lot of challenges to cope with them.
And that brings me to my confirmation of opening the private sector, where you put in money into the budget is allocating money that will provide through programs like give to NGO, recognized organizations, Liberian organizations like they do in other countries, like I said, that will be able to use those manpower, like the people that you sending on government scholarship, they are coming by, who cannot afford right away to work in government, so that they can be able to run those programs and improving the living condition of the people who are the less privileged in our society, who are not educated well enough. So government really needs to focus on programs implementation. I think it will create a lot of jobs for people, a lot of jobs. People don't have to work in, everybody can be a government employee.
Yeah.
But you have to have the skills to do the job. I'm not talking about university level education. I talk about educating people as low as 3rd grade, 5th grade, 7th grade with skills.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. The skills are gonna be like in your state. I don't know about your state, but in my state, we got like culinary arts training. They got people that is sent to culinary arts school. People who don't want to go and get the higher education. They got people that is sent to the construction training. We got clients that go to the construction work and they even make more money. And they got people that go and do like the CDL thing, like the whole truck driving thing. And then they got people who do even the whole technology thing as well. So I understand your part, Carla. I'm just telling the Honorable Mayor that this is where the budget comes in to be able to allocate some funding that will be able to help the private sector to run those kind of programs.
Thank you. And thank you, Jimmy, for your time. So let's conclude on this final thing, Honorable. Right now in Monrovia, the hottest news is the closure of and the seizure of the equipment of Roots FM. When the we administration came to power, free speech was decriminalized. Now, one of the issues for which the station was closed was inciting violence through the use of the radio station and other things. The invalid license or the expired license was also an issue, but it mainly had to do with the utterances of the host, Mr. Costa, which according to the rate of seize and seizure was around sedition and other things like that. So what is your view on how far we can go with this thing with free speech? And if issues like this happen, how can the legislature intervene if there's some form of things like this that citizens are dissatisfied, there's riot and things like that going on? what can the House of Representatives do?
Well, first of all, let me say that it is disheartening that as a government we can proceed the way we proceeded. If there are people that we have issues to, we should direct our anger towards those people. Let me just let you know that for the past couple of months, the Root FM has been jammed, alleged by the government. We
Conference muted.
But we keep hearing that it is the national government that is jamming the station. So most of the time, Costa is on air, and then you cannot get a station because it is being jammed. The frequency is being jammed. That alone, I think, is not a good way to go as a government. So if we have issue with Costa, we can follow the law. As we speak, I got to know that the government did not go with the rate, with the summary or the order, the court order. The action was taken before the court order was presented. If that was what was done, then it was wrong. It's like, I took the action, and then when the criticism was coming, I tried to correct myself. That means as a government, we acted out of emotion, which is not good for our governance system. So yeah, if people are not proceeding the right way, somebody lesson has expired, or the president did not obtain lessons, there are ways that you approach them. Did you approach the president and the president refused, to renew the lessons? All of these clarities were not provided. But we just saw a pickup load of police, going to the station, banking on the getting in, and seizing, seizing the equipment, which for me, I think I don't agree with that. And as a legislator, I think when we resume, the Minister of Information, the LTA, and even the Inspector General of the Liberia National Police need to appear before the full plenary of the National Legislature to explain cause why they have to carry that action out. We need more clarity because we don't want a repeat of it where critical institutions that are critical on government will be closed down because they are not in agreement with what government is doing.
Masa, let me hear from you.
I have nothing to say because we discussed this last was it Friday? Yeah, we discussed this last Friday, and the Honorable Mayor just confirmed exactly what I said. This government is in a fight with Henry Costa as an individual, and it continues to bring some kind of public awareness on themselves in the most derogatory way. That's what this government is involved into. This government has the law, like the Honorable Mayor said, they have the law, they have the power, but they refuse to use it. So it's on them.
Thank you. Honorable Domah, we are so happy that you came to sit with us tonight.
I got my last point. I
tell you because we want to, okay. Because we want to.
The free public university, Honorable Domah, because we were talking about even the high school that this government met there from kindergarten to 9th grade, it's not even effective. But then the government went on to declare public free university. How effective is that?
Well, I think if you talk to the administrators of those universities and colleges, they are complaining a lot. It was a political decision that was not well calculated.
It was.
The students, most of them appreciate it, but the students are also complaining because teaching materials are not available. So indirectly, they are being charged by the lecturers to pay for those, materials that are needed for instruction. So I got a couple of students at the various universities and colleges, and they bring those complaints to us. I think it was of good intent, but the timing and the procedure and the calculation, they did not go down well, and they are causing a lot of problems for those universities.
And even the teachers are not being paid. The teachers
that's it. I mean, all across the country, in all of the sectors, payment is a serious issue. So if you have payment a big issue, and then you are telling people that this is free, I think we have to rethink on that.
But do you think that should have gone through the legislature? Or? Is that what?
Yes, because if you are going to use public funds to supplement your political decision or complement your political decision, then the legislature, which is responsible for the allocation of resources, have to be involved.
Yeah.
But we were not involved. The president made a policy statement. There were communications written on the floor so that the Minister of Education and others can come and provide clarity on that. That was stepped on by the leadership of the House. Those communications were never discussed as they're supposed to be discussed. And so sometimes it becomes disappointing, but because people want to score political gains, they just allow things to go the way they go, and it create problem for us at the end of the day.
Are you powerless?
My last and final question.
Yeah, I was following up because he's saying that they want to do these things. So as a legislature, and you think that should have been the way, so are you powerless? Why are you not acting on that?
Not that as a legislator you are powerless, but then the House, in the chamber there, that's a political battleground. If you are, for instance, if somebody from the ruling party is writing your communication and they are in majority, you will see a lot of credence will be given to it. And if people think that you are writing a communication that will undermine the decision of the executive, they will do everything to fight you for that communication to not surface or for it to not be appropriately addressed. So all these things happen in the chamber. And that's a policy that I just want to bring to your mind.
Massa, your last question?
My last question. So Honorable Domah, I just want to take this time to thank you again for accepting our invitation to be here.
Thank you very much.
You can see all of our callers, all of our guests, they are really interested in this topic, and they all came on live to thank you for even accepting the invitation.
Thank you.
This is what we should be doing. Like I said, regardless of where we find ourselves, we are Liberians. Whatever happens, some of us, we don't even sleep thinking about Liberia.
Know.
Yeah, my daughter can tell me. So my daughters, when they're ready for me, give me easy in the house. I just move to Liberia. You worry about this country too much. So Liberia concerns all of us, and we can never sleep in this country if our country is in trouble, or when things are not going on well, or when our people are suffering and everything. I would not be here to tell you, say, I don't know how many persons even call me to tell me how the town looking on them. And when I came from Liberia, I told people, I'm like, whenever somebody call you and tell you, say they're hungry, it means they are hungry. If they tell you, say they don't have it, they don't have it. It's true. It is true. So we will try our best as Liberians to do what we need to do, but also we want to really be involved with our lawmakers and with the people who are representing our people in the different districts, in the different counties. So I'm really interested to know which one of the population have you personally been able to address some of their needs, whether they are children or people with, or individuals with intellectual disabilities. Liberia went through war, and we have now a lot of disabled people in our community. And even with this issue of trauma, mental health, I know we don't take it really serious in Liberia, but you see that, and some of us who grew up in the war and experienced all those things, yes, we are fortunate now, but we see some of our friends who have been really affected by these things. So what is your own personal, what do you consider as your success story?
Well, before I was elected, I was involved with education. I was a high school principal. Okay. And I work closely with a lot of young people. So going to national leadership, my passion has been to educate a lot of young people. That's why we're trying to provide financial aid for them as encouragement for them to gain education that they can replace us tomorrow when we are not in a position to lead. We have scholarships and financial aids that we've been giving to various colleges and universities, as well as high schools in our district. We've been involved with that. It's challenging though, but we are trying to do the best we can do. I'm also concerned about the youthful population. If you go in Liberia now, you find a huge population of young people who are living on drugs. One time, I had my nephew who was living with me in Ganta, and when I moved to Monrovia, I was assisting him going to school, and he went to live on drugs. And I went to Ganta, I went after him. When I got in there, I was shocked at what I saw in the area that they were living, in the bush that they were living. I saw very smart kids that were in the school, the mission school that I was principal for. They were also in that bush living on drugs, and all of them were running away from me. So we have a huge challenge to rehabilitate them. They are in all of the cities, all of the major towns and cities in Liberia, and the numbers are growing on a daily basis. I was just telling a group of stakeholders in one of our meetings that if we cannot arrest this situation, you're going to have a son-in-law or a daughter-in-law tomorrow who will be a drug addict, and it will cause you harm. So all of us have to be intentional to work with them to make sure that they are rehabilitated and brought back to normality in our society. So the youthful population is my main concern. Yes, those of the old age, yes, we are catering to them. They are our people who brought us up, the disabled community. We are all concerned about them. But my major concern has been with the young people, because we need to have a stable society tomorrow.
Thank you.
I think that's all I have, not to take all of the main time tonight.
Well, thank you so much, Massa, for being a very a great co-host tonight. I really appreciate your time. Honorable Domah, we want to thank you for appearing again. Please, anytime you come, even when you are in the house, bring some of your colleagues, let them join us here so we can talk to us.
We'll definitely do that.
We are interested in talking with your senior senator in particular.
We are interested. We want to talk to our people.
I can talk with him if you will have the time, so that you can have that interaction with him.
Yeah, we want to talk to our people.
Because I actually feel that
us, the more it take away some of the romance, the lies will be carrying. But if you're just,
I agree with you. For instance, since I came, everybody felt that the entire legislature had agreed that the restriction you just named, can be placed on citizens. I said, no, that's not what we passed at the level of the lower house. And if the Senate pass another version, then there's a need for a conference committee that we can harmonize that.
Yeah. So on behalf of all of us here at Focus on Liberia, I want to say thank you so much. We want to thank our viewers online and those who even participated with comments or questions. Those who called in, want to say thank you very much. Every Wednesday, we have the Business and Economic Forum. So this Wednesday, we are having a Business and Economic Forum, and the topic is Liberia diaspora investments that include diaspora bonds, diaspora investment, FDI, and private equity. That will be our discussion. And we want people from Monrovia to join these discussions as well. As Massa said earlier, we eat, drink, and sleep Liberia. We still eat fufu, we still eat kala.
I just follow my fufu.
Right, we still speak our local languages. Everything about us is Liberia, and we appreciate Liberia even more when we are away.
Yeah, you read the culture that gave us greener passion.
Yeah.
And my American Liberians here just get me GB that I swallow.
Exactly. And sometimes they tell us that fake GB we swallow here, but we like it that way.
That's GB.
So we want to thank you again for being here. And we want to end with this song.
We are one people.
So, Mr. Domah, I will stay in touch with you.
Okay, Massa. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure interacting with you.
You too. So, Dennis, I will see you again.